Hi, I'm Andrea Brown
Hi, I'm Jack Brown.
and this is part 2 of this little mini series about scholarships to America. So in part 1 we covered why you might want to consider a scholarship to America, a sports scholarship that is, and in this part we want to look a little bit at the differences in the educational system.
So, Andrea, what's the difference between the US and UK educational systems?
Well, Jack, funny you should ask that. So there is quite a big difference, and this really took me quite a while to get my head around. And once I did, I had this huge light bulb moment. So the way that I think of it is that the difference is really between when they start to specialise in the US versus when they specialise in the UK. So in the UK, you go to high school or secondary school, and then at the end of that, you do your GCSEs. And you could just leave school then and get a job, get an apprenticeship. In the US, it would be very difficult to do that because you don't get your GED, which stands for, I think, General Education Diploma, until you're 18.
Is a GCSE the same as a GED?
No, it is not. So, similar reason, you take your GCSEs when you are 18, you take your GED when you are 18, typically. So, that just the difference there is that when we're applying to university, we use traditionally A levels to get in, whereas Americans will use the GED to get in.
Is there an equivalent to A levels?
Yeah, so the closest thing that I've come across are called advanced placements or APs. So if you're in high school and you're doing your GED, what you will often try and supplement that with are some of these advanced placement topics. So those give you extra credits, and extra credits look good on your university applications. They tend to, well, the scoring, first of all, of those goes from a 1 to a 5. So a 5 is the top marks and 1 is a bottom mark. And most of them look like they are closer to the equivalent of an AS, so maybe sort of half of an A level. So, but American students can often take lots of those. I have seen quite a bit online recently from colleges who are saying, listen, we don't just want students who've got lots and lots of advanced placements. We want more of a all-round student. But yeah, so the closest equivalent I can find to A levels are the APs. But again, people are taking those to supplement what they're doing with their GEDs as part of their high school.
Is everything the same at degree level?
No, and again, it all comes back to this sort of specialism. So when you go to university here, so let's just say you wanted to do a degree in what?
Maths.
In maths. Well, you would probably only work with the mathematics department. It would be unlikely that you would do anything outside. There may be one topic or something like that. Whereas in the US, they are very much emphasize the need to have a understanding of liberal arts. So that means you're encouraged to take a variety of subjects. So if you were doing a maths degree in the US, you would be able to, in the first, I think, year, possibly 2, pick courses from across the entire university. So what's something that you just would fancy that you've always wanted to learn about?
Maybe cooking?
Cooking, that would be helpful. So yeah, even though your major was in mathematics, you could do a minor and do a couple of courses in cookery or in graphic design or whatever. So the Americans really believe in having this breadth of study, whereas in the UK, when you go to university, you're going to have really more of a depth of study and only focus on that particular subject. Where that also comes into play is the amount of time that it takes you to do your degree. So do you know how long it takes to do a UK bachelor's?
3 years, I think.
Correct, Jack. Yes, so it takes 3 years. And do you know how long it takes in the US?
4.
Well done. he's practiced. So so it takes an extra year longer, and that's because of that liberal arts bit. So there's no sort of not one's not better than the other. It's just a different way, and that's definitely something to consider, because there will be some student athletes who will benefit from having that really broad range of study, or will just enjoy it, giving something else a go as part of their university experience, where others might not enjoy that and just really want to specialize, or beyond a time crunch might not want to do 4 years instead of 3 years. But I hope that's been a little bit helpful to give you an idea of that. What it means is that when you are applying for a scholarship to the US, American universities are looking at your GCSEs. So you can start applying really as soon as you've got your GCSEs, or the year that you're going to sit those exams, which means that you ought to start thinking about that as a possibility and doing your research the year before that. So in the UK, that would be, what is that, year 10? About year 10, I think, where you would start looking at that. So we hope that's been helpful. If you've got any questions, please put them in the comments below, and we will do our very best to find out and get back to you. And if we've made any mistakes, please let us know. We're learning as we go along. Thank you so much, and thanks, Jack.
Very welcome.